61. Which of the following represents correct matching set? A. Helps in the movement of body by contraction and relaxation. Muscular system is responsible for the movement of our body. Nearly all movement in the body is the result of muscle contraction. Muscles are attached to bones. When a muscle contracts, it gets shorter and so pulls on the bone attached to move. When a muscle relaxes, it goes to its normal size. This is how muscles contract and relax to bring out the movement. So the correct answer is muscles. A can be matched with muscles. Hard structure which forms the skeleton. The word skeleton means framework. Bones are hard in nature. They form the framework of our body. And also they are strong enough to support our entire weight. This is how they give shape and structure to our body. So B can be matched with the bones. C. Part of skeleton which can be bent. Cartilage is a smooth and elastic connective tissue. We can touch and feel the flexibility of cartilage in our ear and nose bones. So C is cartilage. D. Joins the chest bone and backbone together to form an enclosure. Ribs are long curved bones. They form a cage-like structure by joining the chest bone and backbone together to form an enclosure in order to protect heart and lungs. So D can be matched with the rib cage. Number 2 is a correct match for this question. 62. Which of the following glands in human beings secretes more than 2 hormones? Number 1, adrenal gland. Number 2, pituitary. Number 3, pancreas. Number 4, thyroid. It is slightly difficult to choose the best option from this question because pancreas secretes 2 hormones such as insulin and glucagon. Thyroid gland also secretes 2 major hormones, namely thyroxine and triiodothyronine. But adrenal and pituitary glands secrete more than 2 hormones. While comparing with adrenal gland, pituitary gland secretes lot of major hormones which influences a lot in our human health. So the best option will be number 2, pituitary gland. 63. Which of the following statements is true? Number 1. All metals are solids. This statement is false because mercury is a silvery white metal which is liquid at room temperature. Number 2. All metals are hard. Second choice also false because metals like sodium and potassium, they are very soft in nature, so they can be cut easily with a knife. Number 3. All non-metals are gases. Most of the non-metals are gaseous in nature. Few are solids except bromine, which is liquid in nature. So number 3 also wrong. Number 4. All non-metals are non-ductile. This statement is correct. All non-metals are non-ductile because non-metals are brittle in nature, which means easily breakable. So they cannot be deformed by a hammer into thin sheets or wires. The word ductility means ability to drawn into wires or sheets. Fourth choice is a correct answer. 64. Y is a man-made fiber obtained from a natural source. What could be Y? Number 1, rayon. Number 2, nylon. Number 3, acrylic. All of these fibers are man-made fibers, but rayon is synthesized from a natural source such as plant cellulose. Meanwhile, nylon and acrylic, they are purely chemical-based synthetic fibers. The last one, jute, it is also a natural fiber which is obtained from natural source, that is stem of the plant. Now the answer is number 1, rayon. The letter Y indicates rayon. 65. Study the following table, which is best suited as domestic fuel. We should consider the following properties of a fuel, such as calorific value, state of matter, and ignition temperature before we use it as a domestic fuel. In case of calorific value, we prefer higher to moderate calorific value containing fuel. Then what is calorific value? Calorific value means quantity of heat produced on burning. For domestic fuel, we want moderate and constant heat production. The next one, state of matter. Fuel, what we use, it may be in any states of matter like liquid, solid and gaseous state. But we prefer fuel which is in gaseous state, which is often used because of its storage capacity, which means we can store it easily. And the next important thing, it will not produce solid residues and harmful smoke. Third one, ignition temperature. Ignition temperature is the lowest temperature at which a combustible substance catches fire to burn. Highest ignition temperature means it will take time to burn. Lowest ignition temperature means it catches fire immediately. It is not advisable. So we prefer moderate ignition temperature. LPG is the best and commonly used fuel which fulfills the above set properties. In this question, number 3, C is the best suited domestic fuel. 66. Species restricted to a particular area are referred to as. Let us see the definitions of all the 4 choices, then we find the answer. Endangered species means species which are likely to become extinct or die in the near future. 2. Extinct species means termination of a species or death of the last individual of the species. Third one, endemic species are those plants and animals that exist only in one geographical region or restricted to a particular area. Fourth, migratory species are species that move from one habitat to another. For this question, third answer is a correct definition. 67. Metal X displaces metal Y from its salt solution, but is not able to displace metal Z from its salt solution. Identify the most reactive metal. Displacement reaction is a chemical reaction in which a more reactive element displaces a less reactive element from its compound. Here, metal X displaces metal Y from its salt solution, but not able to displace metal Z from its salt solution. So, Z is the most reactive metal. So, the answer is number 3, Z. Light rays from an object fall on a surface and get reflected in a completely diffused manner. What can you say about the nature of image of the object? An image is a copy of an object reflected by light. In regular reflection, light rays are evenly parallel to each other and an image is formed. In this condition, light is reflected in a completely diffused manner. Diffused reflection comes from rough surface, so that the light rays are not parallel to each other. As a result, they do not form an image. Answer is fourth one, no image will be formed. 69. In order to slide a huge box lying on the ground in her room, Reshma should apply a force which is greater than which of the following forces? We should understand the forces one after the other to find out the best answer. Static friction is a kind of force of friction acting on an object at rest. Number 2, gravitational force. Gravitational force is a force of attraction. The earth attracts everything towards its center is an example. Number 3, normal force. We should not misunderstand the word normal. The word normal means perpendicular to a surface. Normal force is a contact force acting perpendicular to the surfaces in contact. Number 4, muscular force. Any force that results from the action of muscles in our body. Activities like pushing, pulling, walking, jumping, all are examples of muscular force. Let us come to the point. When you try to slide or move anything against the ground, you should overcome an invisible force, that is friction or static friction acting between the surfaces in contact. Here, the condition is Reshma has to slide a huge box lying or resting on the ground. So, she should apply a force of static friction to move it. 70. Identify the correct statement from among the following. Number 1. The lower the frequency of the vibration, higher is the pitch. This statement is wrong because pitch depends on its wavelength or frequency. If the frequency is higher, the pitch will also be higher. Likely, if the frequency is low, the pitch will also be low. So it is wrong. Number 2, the loudness of sound is determined by the frequency of vibration. It is also wrong because loudness is proportional to the square of the amplitude. So loudness is determined by amplitude. It is not determined by frequency. Number 3, sound cannot travel through vacuum. It is correct. Sound is produced by vibration. In order to vibrate anything, we need atoms or molecules. Vacuum is an enclosed place without any matter or molecule. So it is true that sound cannot travel through a vacuum. Number 4, pitch of sound is determined by its amplitude. As I told earlier, the pitch of a sound depends on wavelength or frequency. Pitch is not determined by amplitude. It is wrong. 71. Which of the following sets comprises liquids which are poor conductors of electricity? Solutions of acids, bases, and salts conduct electricity. When these substances dissolved in water, they break into electrically charged particles called ions, which means these compounds, they may lose or gain electrons to become charged or ionized particles. But solutions without charged particles or ions fail to conduct electricity. We call them as poor conductors of electricity. Here, number 1, tap water. Tap water is a good conductor of electricity because naturally tap water has some free ions of sodium and magnesium. Next one, shampoo. Shampoo, because of its mixture of different chemical compounds, it cannot conduct electricity. Honey is full of sugars, so it cannot conduct electricity. It is a poor conductor. Number 2, salt solution. Salt solution, it is a good conductor of electricity. Next one, lemon juice containing citric acid. It is also a good conductor of electricity. Vinegar, which we call it as acetic acid, it is also a good conductor of electricity because these three can dissociate into ions in solution. Number 3, shampoo. As I told earlier, because of its different chemical compounds, it fails to conduct electricity. Vegetable oil. Vegetable oil is fully made up of hydrocarbons, so it cannot conduct electricity. Distilled water is prepared by removing impurities, so it is free of ions and salts, so it cannot conduct electricity. Number 4, sugar solution containing sugars fail to become charged particles, so it is a poor conductor of electricity. Next, vinegar and lemon juice, both are good conductors of electricity because they can become their respective ions. Now the answer is number 3. 72. Which of the following sets comprises chemical changes? Let us see few characteristic features about chemical changes. In chemical change, one or more new substance formed. It is usually permanent and irreversible in nature. This chemical change alters the composition of the substance, and also in chemical change, heat or light is absorbed or released. Number 1, boiling of water. It is a physical change. Breaking of glass. It is also a physical change. Rusting of iron. It is a chemical change. Number 2, dissolving salt in water. It is a physical change. Digestion of food is a chemical change. Shredding of paper or tearing of paper is a physical change. Number 3, cooking of food. Cooking of food is a chemical change. Boiling of water, it is a physical change. Dissolving sugar in water, it is also a physical change. Number 4, rusting of iron. It is completely of chemical change. We cannot get back original iron after it gets rusted. Burning of paper. Once you burn the paper, you will not get back the original paper. It is a chemical change. Digestion of food. Digestion of food is a chemical process where you cannot get back your original food substance. So, fourth is a correct answer. 73. Nina was cycling to the market to buy some grocery items. The market is 4 kilometers away from her home. She travels at a speed of 12 kilometers per hour for first 10 minutes. On her way, she meets her friend Ctet and stops to chat with her for 15 minutes. She resumes her journey at a speed of 8 kilometers per hour. What is her average speed for the journey? This question is about average speed. Then what is speed? Speed is the distance traveled by the body in unit time. So, speed is equal to distance divided by time. Since Nina does not travel in same speed, we have to use the concept of average speed. It is the ratio of total distance covered to total time taken by the body. The formula for average speed is total distance divided by total time. Total distance 4 kilometers. Distance traveled in first 10 minutes at speed of 12 kilometers per hour is not given. So we have to find out this by using the formula distance is equal to speed into time. Now apply the given values. 12 into 10 divided by 60. Out of this you will get 2 kilometers. Distance is equal to 2 kilometers. Convert 10 minutes into hours. So 10 divided by 60. From this it is clear that she covered 2 kilometers out of 4 kilometers. Now time taken to cover the distance of remaining 2 kilometers we have to find out. Time is equal to distance divided by speed. 2 by 8 is equal to 1 by 4 hour. Convert this 1 by 4 hour into minutes. Out of this you will get 15 minutes. From this we can get total time easily by applying all those values. Total time is equal to first part of the journey containing 10 minutes plus time to chat with a friend 15 minutes plus last part of the journey containing 15 minutes. Total is equal to 40 minutes. Convert this 40 minutes into hour. 40 divided by 60, you will get 2 by 3 hour. Now let us come to the formula average speed. Average speed is equal to total distance divided by total time. Total distance is equal to 4. Total time 2 by 3. After calculation you will get 6 kilometers per hour. Now answer is average speed 6 kilometers per hour. 74. Which of the following will not be helpful in the process of separating a mixture of salt and water? Decantation. Decantation is the process of separation of insoluble solids from liquids. Here, mixture of salt and water. They both mix very well. Salt is soluble in water. So we cannot use decantation, which is meant to separate insoluble solids from liquids. The next one, filtration method. In reverse osmosis, water is forced through a permeable filter to separate salt from water. So filtration is used to separate salt and water. The third method, distillation. Distillation is a method of obtaining a pure liquid from a liquid mixture by using selective boiling points. So distillation, boiling, both these methods are used to separate salt and water. Now the answer is decantation, which we cannot use to separate salt and water, as both of them are miscible in nature. 75. Which of the following properties of light can be used to explain the phenomenon of shadow formation? First, let us remove these 2 points from these choices because these two are not at all related with the shadow formation. B, light travels at a high speed, and C, light is composed of 7 colors. We can remove these 2 points very easily from this option. Now let us see what is very important to make a shadow. How does a shadow form? There are 2 things that lead to the formation of a shadow. First, an opaque object which will not allow light to pass through it. Second one, light travels in a straight line, which means it does not bend round the edges of an object, so no light could reach behind the object. We therefore see a dark patch behind the object. This dark patch is the shadow of the object. So it is very clear now. Light travels in a straight line and light does not pass through opaque objects. So the correct answer is number 4, D and A. 76. Identify the correct statement from among the following. Number 1. The proportion of fine particles in sandy soil is relatively higher than in the clay soil. Sandy soil contains more than 60% of sand, less than 10% of clay. In sandy soil, the sand particles are larger in size and provided with a lot of space. From this, we can understand sandy soil contains more of rough and strong sand particles and less of fine particles. First one is wrong. Second one, the amount of large and fine particles is about the same in clay soil. Actually, clay soil contains more than 60% of clay and remaining fine particles. So, the second statement also not correct. Third one, the proportion of large particles in loamy soil is relatively higher than in the sandy soil. Sandy soil means it is clear that it is provided with the larger particles than any other type of soils. Actually, loamy soil means it is a mixture of sand, silt and clay. Silt is a fine sand or sediment deposited by the river. This loamy soil contains salt and silt in equal proportion, which means 40% of sand and 40% of silt and the remaining 20% of clay. So, the third one is also not correct. Fourth one, the proportion of fine particles in clay soil is relatively higher than in the loamy soil. Exactly, this statement is correct. Because as I said earlier, loamy soil contains 20% of clay. So, the fourth one correctly says clay soil contains more of fine particles when compared with the loamy soil. 77. Deficiency of vitamin X causes bleeding of gums. This vitamin is essential for absorption of mineral Y and X is found in food Z. Identify X, Y and Z. Lack of vitamin C in the diet causes a disease called scurvy. Bleeding of gums is a symptom of scurvy due to deficiency of vitamin C. Studies on iron absorption revealed that vitamin C plays an important role in the iron absorption. And also, vitamin C is highly present in citrus fruits. The best option is number 2. Letter X indicates vitamin C, Y indicates iron, Z is citrus fruits.